Hello, guys. Good evening. What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep.
We have Peaches. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We got Peaches and we got Toto. What's up, Toto? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Amazing. Let's just wait a couple of minutes, guys, as we wait for everyone else to log in and as we get the live also set up. Where are you joining us from, Peaches?
I'm joining you guys from Lithuania.
Lithuania. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, the Baltic countries.
And Toto, you're joining us from? Screen.
Joining from the UK.
Yes, that's correct. So you were the one who I was talking to about Tamworth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Amazing. And Peaches, which track is your local track at?
It's Kartlandas. It's an indoor karting track. Yeah.
Kartlandas. That's it. I think we spoke over chat, right?
Yeah, we did.
So I'm just trying to find Peaches. Yep. So you were saying that you've been there for about 7 to 8 months, and you're part of an academy. Tell me about the academy.
Well, the academy is just basically like weekly. We just meet up. There's a group about maybe 5 to 8 people sometimes, and a coach just teaches us. So firstly, we have like a 10-minute session, and then he tells us our mistakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do like exercises like how to overtake with another person, like in duos.
Yeah.
We do like slaloms, and mostly he tells us how to improve our lap time, like where are we doing some mistakes. Of course, he can't like see all of us, but once he sees a person like doing a big mistake that might improve or decrease their lap time, they tell the mistake, and they fix it.
And how big is the group with other drivers?
Mostly depends, but sometimes not all of them show up, so maybe 6 people, but there was a maximum of 8, maybe 9.
Yeah. Okay. And this is in what, 2-stroke karts or 4-stroke karts?
That isn't 2-stroke karts.
Wow. So is it Rotax you're driving or Ayami?
It's I think it's, I don't know what to call it. I think it's Remo karts. They're not like very known, but yeah, they're Remo.
Okay. Remo is first time I've actually heard that. No, but that sounds great. We've got some more people joining. This is going to be a packed session, guys. Let's just let everyone join in. What's up, Jacob? Jacob, can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
How's it going, bro? Jacob, actually,
apart from the hope side, everything is right.
Amazing. Well, Jacob, if you recall, you're one of the first members to join the first sessions we did back in January, right?
Yep. Sure.
And Jacob, actually, interesting story. He gave me some tips before I did a race in Belgium, and those tips, thankfully, were clutch. You know, really helped me in my race. So kudos to you.
Glad I could help.
So the way we're going to do this, guys, is we got more people logging in, and the live is also set up. Just give it a couple of minutes. Yep, save that. Perfect. We've got Ian. What's up, Ian?
Hey everyone, nice to join you. Yeah.
Welcome, Ian.
Yeah, I'm qualified today for a gasoline. I'm from Thailand, from Bangkok.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's late night here, but yeah. Anyway,
what time is it?
Nice to see everyone. It's 1 a.m. That's why I messaged you that I hope to meet you on Monday, not on Sunday, because it's Monday. Yeah.
So you're dedicated.
Yeah. I just started karting recently, and I qualified today for gasoline karts because you need to hit the target time on electric kart. So, and after that, they can allow you to ride a gasoline kart. So I qualified today. It's and a small celebration for me.
Super. We've got Manav. Manav joining us. What's up, Manav?
Hey, doing good.
Manav, you joined us last week, actually. I think we went through some of your footage. How was
Yeah.
the debrief and then performance on track after?
Oh, it was great. So I told you I'll be joining a training that these people were doing at the track.
Yeah.
I went there and took your advice just one day before the training, and instantly I was 1 second down. So
Amazing.
that
Okay.
was good. And by today I'm almost 4 seconds down. So
So that is amazing. That is amazing. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to get to your footage soon as well, not to worry. We have got Vajid. What's up, Vajid? Can you hear us?
Mic is off 1 sec. Yeah, hi.
How's
How
it
are
going?
Good.
Vajid, you're joining
Alhamdulillah.
us from?
Yeah, I'm joining from Qatar. I'm actually a lucky few who can meet Omar in person. So I'm actually from the same place.
Yep, that's right.
So-
So the track you see in my virtual background, that's Lusail karting track. You see that in the videos on the channel. And Vajid is actually a regular driver there. And we meet up regularly, and he's been saying, I need to know how I can break into, I believe it's below 1 minute. And I was saying, yeah, you've got your own
Exactly.
footage, so join our session, and we'll hopefully get a chance to go through it. Welcome,
Yeah,
Vajid.
that's what I
It's-
do. Thank you,
So-
and congrats, Ian.
That's right. Congrats. Well, what we're going to do is review everybody's footage in order of when you submitted it. Now, because we've got about 5 or so clips that we need to go through, we'll spend about 15-20 minutes each. Let's get started with Jacob. And Jacob, if you just give me a brief of what you submitted. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so it was a couple of weeks ago. I went to a brand new track in my country that was opened in early March, at the beginning of the March. So
Where
it's
was
a
that?
brand new
Which
track.
country?
So Poland, and the
Yes.
track is named after the famous Le Mans circuit. So it's Le Mans Poznań, and the rest
Yes.
is like this, the name of the city, because it's like a franchise of the tracks that stand. So they are named Le Mans, and there is the name after. So
That's right.
I can write it on the chat if we have something like that. Oh, maybe you can Google it, because there is they did not upload a track map yet. But
Yeah.
I have only few questions to you. What would you change, or because I think from this point, what I am missing is like maybe half a tenth or something, because it's hard to compare, because the track is brand new. There wasn't any championship, and the guys were doing hot laps, being underweight, so I cannot compare to them. But
Okay.
from what I know, I'm probably missing like tenth and a half to the best times on my weight. So I need to find it, and I have a few concerns about it and few questions. So we'll ask
So,
it.
how big is this track, and what sort of lap times are you hitting?
So the track is about half kilometer, 550 meters. So
Yeah.
quite long for an indoor track. The carts are these SR4, 6.5 horsepower. So not the fastest ones, but a typical rental kart.
Yeah.
And what is the most important thing about this track? We are on Duro tires, so they are less grippy than Beba tires, what I can say.
Okay.
And what was my main struggle was changing my driving style to those tires, because they are harder and you need to drive differently. But I think I managed it quite well,
Yeah.
considering I posted the top 5 fastest time on the track, so it should be good for now.
I have to say, when I'm watching the footage straight away, I
Yeah.
can tell it's very smooth,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting surface that is at this track. It's not quite slippery. It looks grippy, to be fair.
Yeah,
You're not
it's
sliding.
asphalt. It's asphalt, so it's basically it's very grippy. It's very grippy from the start, but you need to warm the tires. It usually takes up to 8 laps for them to warm up. So
Yeah.
you need quite a lot of time to build that temperature up. So we've got that screens. They're on in all of the carts on the track.
Yeah,
And that's amazing. That's amazing thing because you can experiment while driving.
Gotcha.
But the main concern, as we are here, I will talk about it because we are at the point of the track where I have some concerns.
Give me one moment. I'm just gonna
Yep.
switch over so you can add a. You can see my highlighter as
Yep.
well.
Ah, that
Boom.
would be great.
There we go.
So my main concern
Coming
is
up.
the
Yeah.
first 3 corners.
Okay.
And I will tell you why. So basically, when we start the lap, this first corner, it depends on the kart. It's either flat out or you have to lift. It depends on the engine. And my question is, because look at this first corner, second corner, third corner. Okay, and after this, we've got a long straight. Here we
Gotcha.
go full throttle. You can look how long time we're gonna go full throttle. So we go full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Yep, up until now. So we can go back to the start finish straight, and I
let's do
will
that.
talk about my concerns. So okay, so when starting the lap, let's say I have a mediocre kart and I can take the first corner flat out. But the characteristics of this corner is like 90-degree hander. So
Left, yeah.
left-hander. So when I go flat out through it, the kart wants to bottom out to the right side. And the next corner is a right-hander, also
Yes.
very tight one. And now I have tighter line to this corner. Should I lift the throttle at the first apex and attack it from the wider line? I will ask you why, because you can see here you need to brake. Yep.
For the first hairpin, right?
Yeah, you need to brake. Yeah, here you need to brake. You need to apply brake.
Tap of the brakes.
Yep, tap the brakes. At the apex, you hit the throttle. Yep, it's grippy here. So, but the main concern is how wide can I exit this corner? Because I'm wondering if I can take this left one, flat out. Yeah,
At the moment, are you doing it flat out?
At the moment, I'm just taking a small lift, like 20% of the throttle going off. But my concerns are, should I open this corner, the first, let's say the second corner, more to the left, exit it slightly tighter line, to have a wider line for the third corner and try to make it flat out.
Great. No, this is really fascinating because what you're seeing here is a typical double hairpin corner and it's quite tight. Now, the main thing to understand is the distance between the 2 hairpin corners. So as we come through the first corner and now the second corner, you can see it's a very, very short straight. So what happens is, naturally, you have to brake for the first corner and the speed you build up in between this mini straight over here is not going to be so much. So ideally, we should be taking the second hairpin turn flat. Now, the way we get in that position, as you've been asking my advice, I recommend making the entry for the first turn as wide as possible.
Okay.
The wider we can make this turn, the later and sharper we can turn in. I would prefer you go for more a late apex. See, just as the black barrier ends towards the right. Later, you can take the apex. Number one, you can get on the accelerator sooner, and also end up more to the middle or right-hand side of the track.
Because you can see here that I am like more to the left side, and I need to make big steering input to the right side.
Have you tried a later apex? Sorry, a wider entry and then maybe later apex on this?
So I tried it, but I think at this point when the track grip was not optimal, I could not take the third corner flat out. So I decided to take the first one to stay with the same line, because with other karts, I still could not approach the third corner flat out. I could not find the way to do that.
It's interesting. Are you braking more on feeling for the first hairpin turn, or is it an actual point?
It's all it's feeling. Because I changed it to. It depends on tire temperature. It's all the thing is feeling. Like I need to have that speed at the apex. I know when the engine revs are too low from hearing, from feeling. from feeling it. So basically, that's the thing. And when I do this line, so basically, now I have the good setup for the corner. I just firstly I turn the wheel and then I start braking, and here I can go full throttle again. But the important thing, those barriers, it's important to get as close as possible to them. But if you touch them, they are slowing you down massively. By massive amount. It's like a 10th.
Yes,
already.
Yes, correct.
It's like a 10th. So maybe...
Really, based on your feedback, it's interesting that you said the lines change based on the track temperature and conditions, which is correct. Let me just admit.
It's like as you experienced in Kortrijk.
Yes, exactly. And during this sort of session that you were doing, how or what time in the day was it, and how many sessions had gone on before that?
So basically, I came here with my let's say I came here only for practice purpose, because in a few months our track will change the carts to Solis. So we are opting into those direction, and I wanted to have some run on them. To know how they feel and how is it like to drive them. And it was a good experience, to be honest, an interesting one, but still it will be quite different because we will drive them on a softer tire, the better one, the more grippy. That suits me more, so it should be better for me. But it was a good experience. The track is absolutely lovely and brilliant, because there are many opportunities to overtake other drivers. And I guess it will be a quite good spot for racing in the near future in our country. But as I said, it's brand new, newly opened. They need to set up everything, and then the races will come.
Awesome. Well, what I recommend to conclude then, if this is your real struggle, the first first couple of corners.
One more corner after this.
Go for
one
it,
more
go for
corner.
it.
Yeah, so those sections.
Apex, get on the gas earlier. I have a slightly wider entry, so it's easier to take the second hairpin flat out. So that's why later apex, you end up on the right-hand side of the track. Then the entry for the second hairpin is wider for you. And it looks awkward, this corner, because the exit barrier is so close. That's why
it comes close. Right? It comes really fast at you.
So even in that case, right, you could try to take, rather than a middle apex or early apex here, a slightly later turn in, so go deeper into the corner in a straight line towards the barrier in front of you, and then sharp late turn to then cut across the track. So 2 late apexes, maybe.
Yeah, so I need to switch my driving style, because the cards that I'm driving right now, those are Remo cards. They are super grippy as hell. You can take corners in the way, like the triangle shape, and they will do the job, because they have good acceleration out of the corner, and they will turn in the middle. So right now I'm still driving the way I would drive a Saudi, not a Saudi, but a Remo kart. I need to change it from what you said.
The feedback. What was the last corner then you were?
I mean, there is one more corner that I have a concern about, so we will go for it. So here is all good here. I guess it's all nice and smooth. No concerns about it. So good. Okay, so we are coming up to now. So here, if you could stop, go a little bit backwards. Okay, so here we've got another left-hander. We take it flat out, and then we have a small braking before coming up to the pit straight. Let's name it pit straight, because there is an exit from pit stop. So slight tap on the brake, like really not a huge amount, just for turning and applying the throttle even before the corner. As you can see, it's flat out right now. As close here. So now the main concern starts, because after this we've got a blind corner. So here we go, flat out. You can see it, like just play it. You will see the blind corner. So here we've got this. The blind one. So it's really hard for it to judge the right point of turning and braking. So because you don't, because this corner is quite tricky, because after it you got those two right handles which are flat out, then flat out, and the left one, and you're on the start finish straight, which is the longest straight on the track. So
Correct.
you need to take it right in order to have that momentum going into the second corner.
Yeah.
About.
Based on the looks of this is an awkward hairpin turn because it's quite tight and it's quite a sharp corner. But you see the way it goes straight and suddenly caves in the barrier.
Yep.
That's what catches you off, because the angle you take it at, even if you look at this freeze frame, you're sort of turning it early already, and it's difficult to judge. It's all about the accuracy. So in this case, again, I would suggest go for a later turn in than usual. Maybe use the pit lane exit as a limiter. So you don't want to go beyond the pit lane exit, but take a slightly wider entry. Widen up the entry so then you can take a later turn in. Basically going for a slightly late apex. Rather than hitting it over here, experiment what happens by turning half a second later.
Yep. Okay.
Because, go for it.
I know what you mean. So it's basically my thoughts after driving some sessions, and I know what you mean, because if I took a later apex, my kart will be more set to the straight.
Exactly.
So it will be. I will be faster on the straight wheels. I can accelerate faster. That's the thing. I know what you mean. So
you'll be facing forward, and what you can do is try and match these 2 points up. In a straight line as possible, and the rest, as we discussed, is absolutely flat out. So it's easy enough to get the last few corners.
So from what I know, I need to change my driving style from Remo, and that will do the thing. That will do the thing. Okay.
And that's difficult.
It's difficult, but I know that. So it was my first time driving on a track. From now, I know what I have to change, and from my perspective, as I know from my driving experience, the second time that I arrive on the track, I'm feeling way better, and I have the basics, and I know what I can change, what to experiment on. So thank you.
Practice makes perfect. Keep it up, Jacob. Would love to see some more footage of you as well after. Thank you, Jacob. So we're going to move on to Toto. All right, Toto. You're still there, yeah? Gonna bring up your footage. If you're there, Toto, just give me a hi.
Hello. Oh yeah.
All right.
I just had sound problems then, but
don't worry. So Toto, you drive at a very nice track, Daytona Tamworth. How long have you sort of driven there for?
now maybe for like 2 or 3 years. I think I've been driving there like properly.
Yeah. How old are you?
I don't know reveal my age. Sorry, mate.
Okay, no worries. It's just regarding the categories. So regardless, at the moment you're driving the N35 carts. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So those are the adult carts, basically. Believe it or not, last summer when I did a UK track tour, I visited Tamworth, and it was for a Super Champs round. Have you done any Super Champs?
I do Thursday night league, and I did the in-kart, but I didn't do Super Champs now.
Nice. In the league, I guess there's regular drivers. What's sort of the format?
I think it's
Sorry, I think you're cutting out there.
so it's a 20-minute sprint and a 10-minute practice qualifying.
Awesome. How many people sort of show up to those races?
Usually about if it's on a busy day, then it's like 10, but usually it averages about 7 or 8 people.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you told me that you're one of the top 3 drivers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to open up your track map first of all. Give me one moment. Share all. Why not? So what I understand is, especially the track layout I drove, is start finish line is sort of downhill into a fast right hand turn. We then have a brief straight into quite a tricky hairpin. In the rain, I felt this was quite tricky. We wind downhill, then back uphill for the second hairpin, still climbing uphill to the right. Now, I'm going to draw the layout I did, and then I want to confirm if you also did this layout. So we take the hairpin here, we go back down for another hairpin, then we cross over the two to the old track, I believe this is, into the more technical part. So this is the double hairpin section. And from the double hairpin section, it leads on to the very tricky final corner, which is a blind hairpin almost. And up the hill again, passing one of the start-finish lines for one of the layouts. Nice, long, straight, all the way downhill back to basically the finish line. So is this the layout you're doing?
Yeah, definitely.
That is the one. Super.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do is first show some footage with some audio on. If I can get that. All right, doesn't look like we can do that. No worries. That's fine. All right, got some beautiful footage. Actually, has Tamworth looked like this recently? Blue skies?
Yeah, it has some tarmac improvements in the pits, but I think, that's about it. It had some tarmac improvements there.
Amazing. And what about the weather? Has it been raining a lot these past few months?
Yeah, when I was in Thursday Night League, I think the first 3 races was all rain. I couldn't really get a dry race. Had a dry race last time I finished 3rd, but then unfortunately I had a grid penalty, so dropped me down to 4th. But it was dry last time out.
To give you some context of this race, this was interesting because this was the second heat in Super Champs. I had a very bad start. This is the heavyweight category, so you might be able to see that all the drivers in front, where my highlighter is, were battling, and I'm about 4 or 5 seconds down the road. And this was early in the race, so I said, you know what? Lots of laps to go. Let's do some qualifying laps, try and close the gap down. Spoiler, in the end, we managed to catch up to first place and make a move. But these are some of my quickest laps. I want you to sort of take me corner by corner to what are the main concerns you have at this track?
I think want to name about the Pacific Corners.
Yeah, let me bring up the track map again then. Let's do that. Go for it. Yeah.
So I think the problems with me is that double hairpin corner, the first double hairpin corner.
So here and here?
Yeah. That's my first concern.
Okay, here and here. Okay.
Also, that the next double hairpin corner, where it says Indy Circuit, that next one there.
Oh, Indy Circuit. Okay. Yeah. This is the slightly tighter one. Yep. These 2 corners. Okay.
Yeah. And ever since I've been there, my biggest problem has been that last hairpin. Doesn't matter how much I try drive it, I can never nail it right. I can make the corner without slipping, but I can never nail it and get the proper exit speed, because usually when I'm in races, I see someone behind me and they always get close to me on that one corner, and I just need to know how to master that last corner, definitely.
Gotcha. Let's take it corner by corner then. We'll start with the first 2 hairpins, and let me go ahead to the video again. There we go. When we take the first hairpin turn, you'll notice that it's slightly downhill. This means that you have to, number one, be a bit careful with how you apply the brakes. And also how you enter it. It's interesting that, this is not a great example. I'm going to skip to the next lap. Let's see, on this occasion, I'm struggling, you can see there.
Yeah.
What happens is the car tends to understeer because it's right at the last moment, it winds down to the right, and then it's a sharp right. So you're actually turning whilst you're braking. What I found in N35 compared to DMAX, because I did both sessions, is that you can take a slightly tighter line. You don't have to go as wide on the entry, right?
Oh, okay.
Like in DMAX, you might go all the way to the curb on the left. But here, you can see I'm entering in the middle of the track. But what you'll notice is as the curb on the right side starts, it's difficult to look towards that because your focus should be over here. But as the curb on the right-hand side starts to emerge, that's when we sort of start turning in and preparing to brake. So you can see already I've got the bit of steering angle in. About now is where I apply the brakes. It's just after the curb on the right starts. Yeah, apply the brakes. Quite hard trying to rotate these cuts. What you'll find is with N35 is you can really play around with the rear. So the more pressure you apply on the brakes, the more it's sort of going to step out. That's going to benefit you for rotation. What I'm targeting here is pretty much a late apex. So what you'll see is I'm skipping this early part. I'm not getting onto the curb yet. I'm still not getting onto the curb yet. And just as the corner ends and we've hit downhill, this is the track flattens out. Now I'm trying to get close to the curb. You can see that in this case, we could have taken a bit of curb, but it's acceptable. Immediately what you want to do after that is look towards the tire barriers there on the outside. All that speed and momentum you're carrying, convert that and carry it to the exit. Maintain it. That's the main thing. So we come all the way to the exit, and you can even, as I've done in this case, put 2 wheels over the curb there. Yep. So what this does, it comfortably sets you to be on the left-hand side of the track. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, the next corner is a hairpin. Shouldn't we be approaching it wider from the right side? Let's watch how we do it in this case. I actually hug the corner all the way on the left.
I usually go wide.
Yeah. So why do you think I hugged it all the way on the left and didn't go wide?
Is it because it's the shortest line, like the inside, it's the shortest line.
Yeah.
And plus, then you get more control, and it's also the fastest way you go around that corner. Yeah,
exactly that. So what you're trying to do is minimize the meters that you waste. In N35, the kart on exit of this hairpin is going to be building up speed, and you're not going to be building up speed like a D-Max where you should take a wider line. The minimum speed here is quite low. So rather than zigzagging, going wide and then cutting to the inside, minimize the meters by just sticking tight. And all this time, I'm still building up my revs. It's only till about here now I've built up my speed again from the exit of the last corner. So actually taking a tighter line will reduce the meters. And if somebody went wider, right? Let me just bring up the highlighter. Coming onto the exit of the hairpin, if somebody had a wider entry on the right, by taking a tighter line, you'd naturally pass them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Take a tighter line and then stick to the curb. In this case, I didn't quite ride the curb, but I'll stay within the white line. The white line is your reference. So just stay up to there. And we hug the left-hand side going uphill now as we go uphill to now prepare for the second set of hairpins. Yeah. You'll notice on entry, immediately this corner is a lot tighter than the previous hairpins. Yeah. So especially when you have a hairpin like this, it's important, even in N35 karts, you do take a wider entry. Yeah. One thing I did want to mention to you about the previous corner is judge the track width. So here you can see the width of the track is very large, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to go all the way wide. Whereas if we approach the next corner, bring it back a few seconds, just about here. The corner's a lot tighter. Tighter the corner is, wider you want to approach it. Yep. Now, this curb on the left-hand side is a nice reference. Look towards the left-hand side. Let's see what I do in this case. Boom, gone for a late apex. Okay. So are you braking for this corner?
Sometimes I apply like half braking, and sometimes I apply like full braking. But usually, what I try to aim is try braking a straight line.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I brake hard for a bit too long, my rear end just snaps out a bit. Of course, I watched some of your videos saying you brake for a small amount of time until your car fully rotates.
Yeah.
But I think with me, I sometimes brake a little bit too long, and then my car just steps out a bit. So how shall I apply the brakes? It's another thing I wanted to ask you for the last double hairpin corner. Like, how do you actually apply the brakes and how long for? Because with rental karting, I've always had usually a problem with the brakes. And like, how do you like nail that braking point, that biting point of the brakes?
A great question. Really, really good question. And the way I do it is more on feeling. Right, I have to feel out how the brake is for that specific kart. What I found is currently in kart 30, this was quite responsive. I think when I took a kart like 18 or 26, the brakes were not responsive, so I had to put even more pressure than normal. The main thing to establish is the limits, right? So it's always good first few laps, pump the brake, give it a good amount of pressure, and feel for the rear end when it slips out. Yeah, because what happens is, as soon as you apply enough pressure, you know the kart is slipping out on you when you start to counter steer, right? So for example, this is a right-hand corner. I've hit the brakes hard, but now my steering has gone ever so slightly to the left. I mean, I missed it there. Let's just replay. Press the brakes hard, turn into the right, and now, boom.
Yeah.
Felt the kart slipping out. My steering wheel naturally goes towards the middle. I'm counter steering. That's what I'm doing there. So you got to build up. I wouldn't immediately, lock up the tires and spin out. Gradually get there. Within the first 3 laps, you're able to feel out how the brakes are for that kart. And then, it's all about the feeling, right? There's no fixed way of doing it, but something consistent you can do is high pressure and then wait for the rear to slip out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, for this corner, it's interesting where I'm braking. Again, I'm using the curb on the left-hand side as a reference. So we're coming closer to the corner, and it's just about halfway. There we go. So nice and early in the corner, halfway down the outside curb on the left side is when I start braking. You'll see high amount of pressure. I've initiated turning. I've hit the brakes. Sharp turning. Yep. You're directing the kart now towards a middle apex. So again, I'd say mid to late apex. The early part of the corner, you skip the early part, sort of skip the middle, but as the corner ends over here, boom, I've actually hit the curb in this case, Get a wheel onto the curb. This is so we can maximize the exit of the corner. So from the inside of the corner, now you want to be looking again towards those black tires on the outside of the track. So let me change the highlighter. Boom. On exit, I've gone all the way up to the white line. Yeah.
So like when you go into a corner, do you like brake in a straight line or you brake while turning?
I'll give you an example. Let's look at what I did in this case. It depends corner to corner. So here what I'm doing is I'm braking, and immediately after then I initiate turn. So hit the brakes. Now the turn-in is there, and boom, I'm already off the brakes. So it's a very, very short period of braking. Now, the reason why I'm being hard on the brakes and then I'm getting off them so soon is to keep the revs high. So in this split second, early in the corner, look how early we are in the corner. The apex isn't all the way until there. But I'm sacrificing a bit of time on entry to have a short, hard braking period. Boom, short, hard braking period. Now I initiate turning. I'm off the brakes at this point, and look, I'm back on gas already. I'm back on the accelerator. So
Just
what
power
happened?
through the corner.
Power through the corner. And what you'll find is, as you lay the power down, that's also going to contribute towards the rear end being a bit unstable. That's also going to mean from the right-hand side, so you're steering to the right, you start counter-steering. Boom. Look, my steering wheel is back to the middle over here. So it's a combination of using the brakes to turn, and then as you lay the power down, that's also when...
So like full pressure on the brakes, full pressure, and then so full pressure for a short amount of time, and then you turn into the corner. And what should you do as you like counter steer? Should you still like power through the corner, the accelerator?
The moment you start counter steering, you should be off the brakes. For me, as soon as the rear end starts slipping out, that's when I'm off the brakes, because I've hit the limit. If I continue to press the brakes, the cart's going to completely spin out on me, because that's what we're doing with threshold braking. We're hitting that limit where the rear end just starts to slip, but you save it by releasing off the brakes, and then you can also lay the power back down after that. Late apex, use all the track on exit over here. The entry for the next hairpin turn now, notice how I'm in the middle of the track. So
you stay tight.
I'm ever so slightly, staying tight, because what I found over here is you can get away flat out with lots of grip. Like this is a sunny day. Generally, it's a warmer track. Yeah, I know. I remember this corner. There you go. You can just see in the footage. It's actually a split second. I lift off the gas and then I apply it again. It's a very, very short lift. So it's lift and back on gas. Watch my right foot. I'm full on the gas, full on the gas, full on the gas, full on the gas, still as we turn in. And now I feel that there's less grip. So I just release for a split second. And my foot is off the accelerator. And now I lay the power back down. So I lay the power back down as we get onto the curb. Again, we're trying to take a mid to late apex. Make sure that you ride this curb. This is grippy. Get at least 2 wheels onto it. And then exit the corner again. What do you notice I'm doing on exit? Where's my car position?
You're aiming it towards the inside, I believe.
I'm trying to reduce the meters. So what I'm not doing is exiting the corner and staying on the left. No, I'm staying to the right because I want to almost do a diagonal line to the next corner. So my target should be here, or even the green light. Again, saving meters. I'm on the right-hand side. What do you notice about the line again? It's a line for the N35s where the revs aren't so high, the speed isn't so high, so we can afford to take a tighter line. It's all about carrying that momentum and not taking unnecessary meters to the outside. As we come through the fast right, this is flat out. To the entry now to the final 2 hairpins. Got 3 more corners that we got to tackle. We'll go through those very quickly. Where are you braking for this corner at the moment?
Just at the end of that white curve, just at the start.
Okay.
Right there. That's usually where I start to apply my brakes.
Nice. Same thing over here. Can see I've hit the brakes hard just after that curve, as you said. Trying to wait for that rotation. And this is a great example of counter steering.
So do you like carry the brakes into the corner?
I'm not. So what you'll see is as this curve ends, boom, I've hit the brakes right now. This is my braking point. So just as the curve is ending, I've hit it in a straight line. I'm also turning now because you need to get rotation into the car. I believe this kart was quite understeery, so I had to be very aggressive with the turn-in initially. So nice and early with the turn-in. And what you'll see is still on the brakes, still on the brakes, still on the brakes. Now I've released. Now I'm off the brakes, right?
Yeah.
And as I lay the power back down, I'm counter steering. Yeah. But one very important thing about counter steering is, do you see my steering wheel all the way to the left-hand side, 180 degrees to the left?
Yeah.
It's actually in a neutral position. Yeah. It's almost as if I'm in a straight line here. Yeah. My steering wheel. So I'm not counter steering like my steering wheel is all the way to the left. No, it's in the middle. So from the right, as we were turning on entry, bring it back. So look, on entry, we do about, let's say this is 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Of steering angle to the right. And then as the rear end starts to rotate, it goes back to the middle. This is 0 degrees of steering angle. Yep. So just be careful with counter steering. You don't want to be doing too much of it. Same concept for the first hairpin is you want to skip the inside edge, leave a gap. What we're doing over here is preparing to take a late apex. I've actually got a dedicated video, double hairpin corner, where I break down exactly these two corners. So I recommend you check that out.
I will.
What we're doing is we're doing all of our braking for the first hairpin turn, aiming for a late apex. Look at that. Miss the early apex, skip the middle apex, and boom, late apex as the corner ends. Get 2 wheels onto the curb. This gives you grip. This gives you a boost to now exit the corner. What happens is we braked. We're slowing the kart down. So now we're still building up speed. So for the second hairpin turn, notice what I do. What do you notice I'm doing on entry?
You're going to cut off the unnecessary miles.
Exactly that. I'm staying in the middle of the track. I don't want to go wide over here. Remember, I'm still building up my speed from the previous hairpin. So what we're going to do is keep it in the middle of the track. And then I never managed to take the second hairpin turn flat out. So what I'm doing just on entry, boom, as I turn, you see how early I'm turning? In this case, sharp early turn, but also you can't see on the camera, I'm actually lifting my foot off the gas. So as I turn in, it's a very brief lift off the gas, right? I lift my foot off the gas, get rotation into the kart, and immediately I'm back on gas now. And here again, skip the early apex, skip the middle apex, and actually on exit, try to ride a bit of this curb. On this case, I didn't do it so well, but try to get 2 wheels onto that for better execution. Let's just go to the final corner as we're just running out of time a little. What are you struggling exactly for the final corner?
It's like usually, I think same thing, that I applied the brakes quite long and my rear end steps out so much. And then as I'm exiting the corner, my exit is like so slow. It's like I brake usually, just before about the start of that corner. Yeah. I brake in a straight line, and I usually, the problem with me, worst habit of racing, where I switch up my apexes, like it's either an early apex or a late apex. I find out I'm a bit slower if I take the corner too tightly instead of taking that late apex, so I can have the smoother line going around the corner. Yeah. So like I've always had the problem with this corner. So I would like you to see how can I improve on this. Yeah. So let's just go through fast motion, what I'm doing over here. That's not a great example. Let's skip towards this lap. Yeah. Boom. All right, that's a better example. Now, the way I tackle this, same thing as you. I spent many laps thinking, how am I able to take this corner as fast as possible, but not lose time by drifting or even losing your momentum. It's such a tight corner
and it's such a blind corner. There's not many references, right? So, for example, the actual apex itself, right, is dictated or decided by black tires, right? This is technically the apex of the corner. What you want to do is go for a mid to late. I would say actually a late apex, just as the tires end. Don't go too early in this corner. So how do we set up for mid to late apex? Well, firstly, it's early braking. What happens is you're going downhill, you'll be inclined to brake a lot later than you think. I personally think early braking and then accelerating through the corner was the faster line in N35. So I'm using the limited reference points which we have over here, but at least we have one, which is the change in, I guess, tarmac over here. So you got grass and then you got a raw patch. So what you'll see, let's just pause it frame by frame. Yeah, there we go. I'm hitting the brakes just as we pass this patch on the right side.
Yeah.
Is that patch still there? I mean, this was a long time ago, this footage.
Yeah, he's still there. It's
still there. Cool. So just as you pass the patch halfway down your front tires, hit the brakes there. But what do you notice? It's very early in the corner. You see, the apex isn't until here, but we're already pressing the brakes.
Yeah.
Again, we're sacrificing time. We're hitting the brakes hard. We're trying to get good rotation in the car. And let's see what I do in terms of turning over here. I delay the turn-in. Okay, that's very interesting. So in this case, I spend a little bit more time in straight line braking, and then I'm turning into the corner. And what you'll notice is as soon as I initiate turn-in, I've released my foot off the brake. So I'm now no longer on the brakes. And I'm gone 100%. So, well, not 100%. I'm feeding the power back down. What you'll notice is I'm back on gas before the apex of the corner, right? So all of this yellow line that I'm drawing is going to be me on the gas now. So this is where I gain the time. I've braked a little bit earlier. Okay, I sacrificed time. But now that I'm back on gas, this is where I gain time. I'm on gas. I'm laying the power back down. You can see that I'm counter steering ever so slightly. I'm trying to hit my apex there. And on the exit of the corner, try and get 2 wheels over this white line. Yeah. So 2 wheels over the white line, half of the cart there, maximize the exit. And then you should be, in a great position to end the lap, full speed, final corner, downhill, just like that. Hope that helped, Toto. Let me know if you have any questions, finally, before we end.
Just one final question. First of all, hairpin. Do you hard brake for a short period of time, or do you literally half brake into the corner?
Good question. Let me just see what I do in this occasion. Yeah. Okay. It really depends on the kart. If you have a slower kart, try to spend less time on the brakes, right?
Yeah.
So slow kart, less brakes. Fast kart, 30 was a fast kart. You'll see I spend more time on the brakes. I'm braking over here. Look, I'm hitting the brakes now in a straight line. I'm still braking. I'm still braking. I'm still braking. I'm still braking. Now I release. So it's a slightly longer period. But the thing that stays consistent is the amount of pressure. I'm still going for quite hard braking. What you want to avoid in rental karts is spending too much time on the brakes. You want to actually avoid trail braking, which is where you're braking into the corner. Because what that does is it cuts off all your momentum, it cuts all your speed, and then it takes time to build that up. So by hitting the brakes hard, you're still slowing the kart down, but you're not killing the revs. That's what you want to aim to do. You need to keep the revs as high as possible.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Well, and for this corner, you also take a late apex. Usually I take it too early, and I'm usually riding the curve for too long. And that allows the driver to take from behind, a faster driver to take the slightly wider line and then take the late apex, and that's how the gain time. Usually around this track, I get 63.5s, but the ones in front have 62.3s, 62 points, really, really quick times. So before I go, is there any main facilities and I say, what is the main parts you need to do to go into these type of corners? Main parts, priority.
Yeah, I'd say aim for late apex for all of these hairpins. So every single hairpin that we discussed today, whether it's the first corner, the first hairpin, late apex, the second hairpin. So we said the second hairpin, we want to keep it nice and tight.
Yeah.
Coming up to the uphill hairpin over here, again, hard on the brakes, late apex over here, head out wide. Then for the second corner, you can keep it quite tight. From this point, cut across the track. And then the final two double hairpin section, late apex again, keep it in the middle of the track, cut to the inside, maybe take a late apex like that. And the final corner, try and head in a straight line as possible. And it's a sharp late turn like that to get the best possible exit. So the consistent thing over here is late apex, and also try not to lose your revs. Yeah, try and keep the revs as high as possible. Let me delete all this. Oops. Super. So Toto, when is the next time you're going to the track?
Next week on Thursday. Yeah.
Try and experiment with all this. So whatever we discuss in a session like this, it's not that it's guaranteed, oh, you're going to go faster. No, it's actually an experiment you've got to do. You've got to try new things out. See, if you go to a track and you just keep doing the same things over and over again, you're going to stay at that level. So it's worth, using the sessions. You go there nearly every week, try something new, right? And it might work, it might not work, but at least you tried. So let me know how it goes. Again, you're in the group, so hopefully at a future session you can join in again. If you have your own footage in the future, I'd love to review that. And next time I'm in UK, I'm going to send you a message. We'll do a race together. Yeah, how does that sound?
Yeah, that'll be good, man. That'll be good.
Amazing. No, I'd love to come back to Tamworth and do a session with you, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. But look, thanks for having me, and thanks for telling me all these tips.
It's a pleasure.
If I can be able to afford a camera mount, because usually the best camera mounts usually are target to have on my chin of my helmet. So if I can do that, you can review my footage and all that. So we can
absolutely. I always tell everyone the second best investment after you get a helmet is a camera. Keep saving up. Yeah. You'll get there soon, but it's a very, very good asset to have. If you can record your footage and save it on a hard drive and watch it after you come back from the track, so insightful. For example, like all the way to F1, the drivers, in terms of data, they'll watch their footage back. So it's very, very handy to have.
Yeah. So look, thanks for having me. Thanks for sharing these tips. And I'll see you in the next one, man.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Have a nice day.
Take care, Toto. Right, we're going to move on to Ivan, we're going to review your footage, then we're going to go to Manav, then we'll go to Vajid. And we've got Surath. What's up, Surath? Can you hear us?
Hi.
How's it going, Surath?
It's good, man. Nice to be here as always.
Awesome. What we'll do, we'll have a chat after the session, because I know you wanted to ask a few questions as well.
Yes.
So we'll just finish reviewing everyone's footage, then we'll review that. We'll go through with you.
Yeah. That works.
Ivan, I'm not sure if it's if you can hear us. Are you on mute? Just give it a minute or so. If Ivan is not there right now, we can move on to Manav. All right, Manav, can you hear us?
Hey, yeah.
What's up, Manav? We'll start with you, then we'll have to come back to Ivan. We just want to keep things rolling. That's why.
Sure.
What time is it now in India?
It is 12:30 almost.
12:30. I don't want to hold you guys, but you're very dedicated. So let's do. Before we start, what timing would you prefer? If we do track help in future, what would you prefer?
I'm fine with late night because I run a business. My clients are mostly US based, so I'm up
Okay.
a little late. Not all night, but I'm up a little late.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're happy. You're fine with this kind of timing that we set.
Yeah,
Cool.
works for me.
Well, I'd just like to get different people's feedback. And speaking of your footage, I reviewed it. I think it was very, very exciting race. Number one, you were in the daytime.
Yep. Yeah,
that made it look so much different to the last time we reviewed it. So initially, you had a battle with one of your friends.
Yeah.
Was this in front?
Yeah.
And he was doing a good job, to be fair, with defending and things like that. But you managed to pass him.
Yeah, I hang back, I make a mistake, and then I overtake.
Yeah, exactly. And then you caught up to, well, actually, it was a more experienced driver. I felt he's one of the quicker drivers. Is that correct? In the blue helmet.
Yeah, he's about 0.9 seconds faster than me.
Okay, so he's lapping in. If you just remind me of the best laps, there again.
So mine today, just about 3 hours ago, was 40.1 seconds.
Wow.
And his best was yesterday. Today was not his best. So his best was, so in this race, it's not his best, but his best was 39.2.
39.2. Well, I have to say, in this few laps that you were near him, it was a good job that you were, number one, keeping up, and you were able to sort of see the kinds of lines he was taking. Before we go over specific things that I sort of want to highlight, what were you struggling with, or what did you feel was limiting you, even after getting this 40?
So in certain corners, the car tends to, step out a little, but that's okay. I'm trying to keep that in control, and I think what I mostly want to get from you is, first I want you to review a clean lap, which is probably around 3 minutes in the footage. Tell me what I can improve there, and then tell me from this one where this experienced rider catches me. That is 8 minutes. Tell me what I could do to maybe catch up or even overtake him. Because I did a very good job defending from him.
Yes.
He spins out twice because he couldn't overtake. He goes into the tires and someone had to come to rescue him twice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we'll do, let's review that fast lap. I believe this is probably either this one or the next one.
It's around 3.
Yeah. So we're starting the lap. We're going through turn 1. We're coming up to brief straight before the first hairpin turn. And so one thing I noticed with your driving, you're a lot smoother, right, than last time. You're not over driving, right? So I can see that you're keeping, you're keeping the reps high. There's no stop start kind of thing. But the real thing that I could notice from even your best lap is the kind of braking technique you're using. Now, we discussed this in length with Toto, who was doing the previous track. And we spoke about threshold braking versus trail braking. So what happens in trail braking is you're actually braking all the way into the corner until the apex of it. So in this case, especially for the first hairpin turn, you've actually hit the brakes over here. You started braking. You're carrying the brakes now into the corner. You're still on the brakes. You're still on the brakes. You're still on the brakes. And now you've released. Yeah? So you've released about almost halfway in the corner. That's trail braking. And that it's not that you've done something wrong. No, you've just done a different technique. Trail braking is excellent to do on two-stroke karts. They have a lot more horsepower, and actually lap time is won under braking in those karts. As we mentioned, with rental karts, so these karts you're driving 4-stroke karts, the revs and horsepower is so low that spending that much time on your brakes and basically braking into the corner, you're losing time compared to somebody who would press the brakes at a similar point, which is relatively early in the corner, but they're just pressing it harder with more pressure, right, to slow the go-kart down quicker. And then a split second later, so about here, I would say, so you can see we're well before the corner, now we would be getting back onto the gas. Now,
in this one, I think I was trying to defend my inside line. That's why I was probably trail braking, because this is the point where I've just overtaken the guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll skip ahead to another lap. For example, maybe well, I guess he passed. So let's take about 6 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's take this lap. Again, coming down the same hairpin corner, let's just see sort of what braking technique you'll use over here. Taking the brakes, and then you're releasing back on gas. Yeah. So what I recommend is next time you're on track, experiment pressing the brakes with even more pressure. And the way I know you'll be doing that is you'll get that counter steer that I was talking about with Toto. So what's happening over here is you're turning, you're braking to the left, and just watch your steering wheel over here. You're still holding the angle to the left, and now you open up on corner exit, right? So you're taking quite a smooth line. Now with threshold braking, you'll initially turn in like you're doing over here, but as you apply more and more pressure, your steering wheel will go from the left to the center. You'll be neutral. You'll be actually counter steering. That's what we were talking to Toto about. And the more pressure you apply, the more you're going to counter steer. So let's try and do that for the first hairpin turn. Let's go ahead to the next sequence. This is a fairly high speed part of the track. You're building up speed.
This is flat.
Absolutely flat.
Yeah.
I think you're signaling to someone. Is that someone behind you, or you're waving?
The guy who was chasing me crashed twice, as I said. So this is probably the second time we went into the tire. So I'm just telling the pit crew to get him out.
Yeah. You were signaling to them. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just coming up to the second point for braking. Again, I'm watching your steering wheel here. Boom. So that's nice and smooth. Excellent. A big improvement actually from last footage that you shared. So what you're doing, you're rotating into the right. Now, what you want to do next time is press the brakes hard in such a way where it's about this period where rather than still turning to the right, you're doing the opposite. So you'll either be neutral in the middle of your steering, or ever so slightly turning to the left over here. Yeah, you're counter steering.
Okay. Yeah.
Skipping ahead to the next corner. So what I'm focusing on over here is just how you're braking. Then we'll come on to the lines, because there's just another thing I wanted to mention on the lines about yourself.
Here I'm only lifting.
This was a big improvement. Yeah, I was gonna say you've done well to basically come over that hurdle of taking that corner without braking. Now, I still recommend taking this lap in isolation. Is try to be a bit wider on entry. Yeah, so open up the angle of the corner. So what you can do is take a more free-flowing line. So from the outside edge, then turn in, and in this lap in isolation again, because I'm sure on other laps you were a bit closer, close the distance. Yeah, use the sand as a reference. So my yellow line is your curb. Try to close this distance. Yeah, whenever there's a small bit of gap like this, there's lap time to be won. So just try and close that distance next time. The way you can achieve that easily is simply widening up your entry, and then as you're doing, take a lift off the gas, be a bit more aggressive as well with the steering. Yeah. So sometimes you can't use the brakes to turn. This corner doesn't require braking. So how can we initiate better rotation? We'll be aggressive with the steering, put a bit more, pressure into the wheel. Be slightly more aggressive with the way you push the steering wheel or pull the steering wheel. Now, that will help you with rotation, and you'll find sometimes if you're on the limit, you'll be counter steering again. That's the key thing to keep in mind.
I have been trying to avoid that because I've heard that kills momentum. So I've been trying not to step out too much.
Absolutely. Now the thing is, with everything, it's about finding the limit. So what you'll find is that when you try this technique out, normally you'll be counter steering excessively, and you're right, that kills you. That's scrubbing time. You want to get to a stage where you're doing it in a very precise way, and it's almost a smooth motion rather than being overly aggressive, because there's that limit of perfection and then overdoing it or overdriving. So it just comes with practice now.
Okay.
Final couple of corners, this was a lot smoother, and especially the final corner that we're coming up to now. You were doing a lot better over here because, number one, your entry was a lot wider, right? And this helped you many times hitting your brakes early, get good rotation, and slingshot to the exit. I just want to skip to a lap where you were following, driving the black t-shirt, because you'll see your line was a lot better through the final corner. This was a nice example. So this is two lines. I mean, you could argue that the driver in front, he's on the more defensive line, but watch how much you gain by braking early, taking a wider entry, sacrificing time over here, slowing the car down. You then switch back, you cut to the left-hand side. This driver's taking a lot of curb, so his exit's going to compromise. And look, on exit, you come right on his bumper, and by the next or the first corner, you're side by side. Really, really good. So keep that up. Let's skip to about 8 minutes. I believe it's about here where you had a very, very clean lap. Yeah, starting with the first corner. And the main thing I want you to keep an eye on is the gap, right? Because this gives us a good reference, sector by sector, whether you're losing in specific corners or even gaining. So it's about 1 second, the gap. What you'll notice immediately, what the driver in front does, he takes a very late apex. So he skips this early part of the corner. Where the yellow is, he doesn't direct the cart there. He rather goes towards the end of the corner. Late apex. And he gets a slightly better exit, right? The gap has opened up by a few tenths. So his exit is slightly better. You're still keeping in tabs. But notice his entry. He stayed in the middle of the track, and at the last moment, he went wide. Again, he went for a late apex. So he skipped this early part of the track. He's gone for a late apex. You're following him. You're on that similar line. Boom, you've hit a late apex. And look at that. The gap has pretty much neutralized, or it's come down a little as well. So you gained a little bit there on him. Fast right. It seems the carts were similar performance, right?
Same carts.
It's not that he had a much better cart or you had a much slower cart.
No, not at all.
Do you memorize the card numbers at this track, or you ask the mechanics, guys, give us the best numbers?
So I asked the mechanics, but these cards are not numbered. They are named after the the mathematics sign. So mine is called pi,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
his is, I think, phi, PHI. So yesterday I was on his cart,
Yeah.
the one he's driving, and that cart definitely is fast.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. But today they said no one will take the same carts as yesterday, so we had to change.
Gotcha. It'll make a big difference. Since you're going so regularly, keep a tab of the lap times each cart gets, and also with each other. So you should, I would say, both take same carts and compare. So you know it's either the cart or maybe his lines were different, and it's something very very good to keep a track of. Every time you go, try to take a different cart, so you just have different exposure as well, because they'll all handle slightly differently to each other.
Yep.
Coming up to the final 2 hairpin turns, again the gap stayed the same. You did a very good job on this lap. You kept up with him.
Yeah.
What do you notice that he does? Once again, he takes a lay to apex, so he skips this part of the track. You're following him through. You're also taking a mid to late apex. And look, actually on corner entry, you gain on him. So you were slightly better with the brakes, right? And you close the gap down in this case. Coming up to the second hairpin, you're really on the back of him. So just in one corner, being smooth, you've put about a cart's length on him, which is excellent. Just one thing to know. You'll see in this case, he's entering the corner about half a cart wider than you, right? Ever so slightly. You can see this portion here. He's a bit more to the right side. So he's widening up the entry. The reason he's doing that is to get the best possible exit, right? And although you gain on him on corner entry, you scrub a bit of a tie on the sand. On exit, he pulls away, right? That's partly due to him taking a wider entry. So that's something you can try and implement next time. Wide entry, brief lift off the gas for the final hairpin there, and then maximum speed onto the straights. What do you notice about his entry over here, though?
Yeah, he's wider than me.
He's slightly wider, and it's these things which are like, you know, half a cart difference that really shows, but it does make a difference. Slightly wider entry, and he's able to slingshot out of there. And by the time we get to the final corner, the gap has come back to about 1 second, 1.5 seconds. Final corner, he's nice and smooth, and that's basically a lap. So I would say in that lap itself, what was really good is you stuck with him through turns 1. Let's say the first sector, the gap stayed the same. As we came to the second sector where the hairpins are, you actually gained over here. So we're coming up to the fast right into a hairpin. So now you're gaining, you gain under brakes. You're a lot smoother here. You're back on gas earlier. And all you had to do to stay on his bumper is just take slightly wider line over here. It says this corner, take a wider line. Because sector 3, now he pulls away. He got a better exit. That was the only difference. So
I was trying to stop from taking an inner line, I think. That's probably the wrong thing I did.
You know, it's all good. And these small things you just say for next time you're at the track. You've got 39 in you. I know you can hit 39. So let me know if you're able to hit that for next time. Yeah, keep me posted.
Sure, yeah. I'll be going back tomorrow. Let's see.
Excellent. Let me know how it goes, Manav.
And I think one more thing I'll just say and then go is
Absolutely.
I think the some of the places where he gains after a while is where I am trying to, you know, counter steer and counter correct. So those are the places where you said that I need to find a balance, and it comes on practice. So those are the only places you will see he keeps on gaining, because I correct a little too much.
Yeah, just try to even those things out, and I'm sure you'll get there.
Okay. Yep.
Keep me posted, Manav. Take care. Good night. Thank you for submitting your footage. Before we go to Wajid, do we have Ian? Ian, Do you copy?
Yep, I'm here.
Ian, okay. I think we lost you for a few minutes because before Manav went on, I was calling for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
For
I
me?
was.
I'm sorry. It's
No,
weird
it's all
because
good.
I've
I was
been
hoping to get you on before
here,
that because I know it's getting very late for you. It's nearing 2:00, is it? There?
But it's okay. It was interesting to listen. I mean, to see other guys writing because it's all new information for me. And honestly, you discussed a lot of information. I mean, related to my questions about like counter steering, braking, and all this stuff. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and tips that they're doing at their track and we're discussing will naturally relate over. Corner by corner specifics that varies, but simple driving techniques that's pretty much universal. You use that at any track around the world. And it's interesting that you're driving at one of the best outdoor electric tracks, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Impact Speed Park. That's right. I'm just bringing up some photos. I can hopefully put it on the share screen. How long have you been driving at Speed Park for?
I think today was my fourth time there. So it's my today I got my 8th session, and the 9th was on gasoline cart. And gasoline carts are crazy, much crazier than electric carts. But yeah,
I mean, this is a beautiful picture. Assume it's at sunset. And is the track open all day?
No, I think they open starting at 2 p.m.
Yeah,
but it's really hot at 2 p.m. So I prefer to ride in the evening or even at night because they usually close it at 10. So
yeah. Well, what you'll find with the different times of the day is, especially the gasoline carts, the cooler the temperatures are, the better they'll perform. And it comes to like the tracks that I've raced at, half a second, 1 second difference. Humidity also plays a big factor. The more humid it is, the worse the engine performs. With the electric carts that you were driving over here, as we play some minutes.
So yeah, there are 2 hairpins over here, and I think everything else is pretty easy. Just just push throttle and let's go. But for these 2 turns, they're tricky, I think, especially the first one for me.
The first one. Yeah, I was going to say the layout that you were using is quite straightforward. And what I wanted to find out with the carts itself is, towards the end of the session, do you feel that the performance or the power is a lot less, like the battery dies?
Yeah, I watched your video about electric carts, and you said that the power should drop at the end of the session. But honestly, I'm not sure I really feel it.
You didn't feel that. It depends on the type of cart. I mean, by the looks of it, these are the Sodi ones. These are very similar to the ones I have.
This is a Sodi RX or something like this.
Yeah, RX. It's some kind of numbers after that. But what you'll find is the older these get, and it depends at the end of the day what battery they've got. Lithium.
Sorry, RTX. No.
RTX, that's it. RTX, like the NVIDIA cards. I remember that. Yeah, that's right. With the type of battery they use, lithium batteries are a lot more reliable, and they will give you that peak performance throughout. Let's just go through the lap then. And it was funny because you were following the guy in front, and I don't know if you were putting pressure on him or what, but I think he ended up spinning out, and you sort of passed him. Through the first corner, you got a typical hairpin turn. What are you struggling with exactly? Is it the braking? Is it the turning?
Probably just a lack of experience. Because sometimes I feel during the turning, I feel like how to say it, like a vibration. I feel like my front wheels losing grip and then regain it, and I'm not sure this is correct. Should I experience that?
And is it like a shaking feeling? The cart is...
Yeah, it's like shaking.
Yeah, because I can see it in this instance over here. You're turning into the corner and boom, right now.
Yeah, here it is.
So much shaking, yeah. And what that is, it's a combination of 2 things. Number one, the weight of the cart. Electric carts are a lot heavier than petrol carts. on either side, you can just about make out the side pod on the right and on the left. The batteries are located there. So imagine on either side, you got heavy batteries. And what happens is you've got instant acceleration, right? Because of the nature of electric karts. So the torque is a lot higher. The moment you put the foot down on the accelerator, so you turned in, you're braking, now you're back on accelerator, so you're feeding the power back down. You combine the high speed or the high acceleration with the heavy kart, the tires aren't able to handle that, right? That's something I experience on my indoor track.
And I'm turning pretty hard here.
And look at that, you're still turning over there. So one way to mitigate that, right, is, generally heavier drivers will benefit in this case because the kart gets more planted. How much do you weigh, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it's a good question. Probably 59, 60, something like this.
Yeah. So you're in my camp, where as lighter drivers who are about 60 kilos, 60 or even 65, the electric karts will shake a lot more. The sweet spot we found in these karts is if you're about 85 kilos. That's where it actually gets rid of this shaking. The only way to drive around this, right, is to use the brakes more. So what happens is it's a short braking period you're taking over here. Now, what you'd have to do is get the minimum speed a lot lower. And this takes experimenting. So next time you're on track, try to take this corner with double the amount of time you brake. So brake for a lot longer. What you'll find is you're carrying less speed, but the line will be smoother. So you shouldn't experience this much shaking through the turn at a slower speed. Now, that can work in your favor. It may even slow you down, but it's a matter of experimenting that, which is important. So use the brakes more. That's what I recommend, number one. Also, you could try and use the coasting method. So rather than being on the brakes and then on the accelerator straight away, why not use the brakes for a period of time as you're normally doing? And as you release off the brakes, then just coast the car. So no brake, no accelerator, just a period of, it's 1 second. It's not a long time. It's just a short period where you're just coasting the car. I like to call it rolling the car. So you're still turning, you're rolling it towards the apex of the corner. And as you feel the tires grip, then you can start feeding the power, lay the power back down, and you might get a smoother exit like that. Another thing is, we spoke about braking, but try to go for harder braking as well. In these karts especially, you can get the rear to rotate quite well, especially at indoor tracks. So as I was saying, you could try and initiate with harder braking, especially mid-corner or before the apex, a bit of counter steering. So the harder you press the brakes, the more you're going to turn to the left. Now, it shouldn't be excessive counter steering. It should just be like here, you're turning the wheel to the right, so bring it back to the middle to 0 degrees of steering angle. You shouldn't be going, 90 degrees or 100 degrees to the left. That's way too much. That's going to slow you down. That's scrubbing your tires.
Yeah, so I got some counter steering on the second hairpin. That's why I said I feel more comfortable with the second hairpin. And on the first one, it was always difficult to get this feeling because you see the second hairpin, it goes with, it's starting with a smooth turning. So when I, hit my brakes, I already turning kart a little bit. And because of this, I feel, I got this better rear wheel slippage over here.
Yeah.
But
it's
the first hairpin, I don't know. It's more difficult for me.
I'm just going to skip ahead to the next lap. I want to see you take this a couple of times. Coming through to the, first hairpin over here. Yeah, a lot more controlled over there. Have you walked on the track?
You mean
have you done a track walk?
Walk?
Have you done a track walk? Like, have you walked on this track?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Basically, when they have competitions and things like that, especially in advanced racing, the organizer allows people to do a track walk. So this is where before the event, you can actually walk on the track. And what this allows you to do is, up close, see how the different, bits of tarmac is, look for any, specific things that might hinder you on the track. What I can see from here is the surface sort of changes, and that could be a factor as well to this shaking. It doesn't look as smooth and or new as well.
Unfortunately, it's not smooth. Yeah,
it's probably more bumpy. You probably felt it's quite bumpy, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is, at this speed, it depends on the speed you're carrying. Now, at this speed, you're shaking quite a lot. The kart is unstable, so slow it down a bit more. That's the only way to sort of attack this. Try something new, as opposed to fighting the kart, shaking. It's uncomfortable for you. But in saying that, I've been to tracks in the world where the surface all around is just terrible, and you have to make do with the uncomfortable ride.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's best to try some new things out. I would recommend your line, especially for the first hairpin, looks good. This curb is very sketchy, actually. I mean, we find out. I'm just trying to skip to the lap where the driver actually spins out. It's about here, because when you take too much curb, you can spin out. That's correct.
And that's exactly what happened with him.
Yeah. So we're spectating over here. Driver takes half of the kart on the curb, and it just throws you out. So you've pretty much, I think, found the sweet spot. I'd just say work on consistency. So, for example, in this case, right, you could have been a bit closer, right? But other laps, you were doing it, right to the limit. So if we go over here, that was beautiful. That was really nice. Now, in that case, I mean, you've actually proven to be one technique to get around this. Watch, because you do more braking here, you counter steer. So watch this. Press the brakes hard. Boom. Now your steering wheel is in the middle. So you've hit the brakes hard. You've got that bit of counter steering. And look at the difference in rotation. So the kart is rotating here, it's rotating. And what you're doing is you're loading the outside tires. Were you using your body weight in this session with leaning?
I'm always lying out the corner.
Yeah. I can tell.
And I feel better with it. I feel less, less vibrations, and I feel more confident cornering, laying out.
This was a perfect example. So you're leaning out, you've hit the brakes hard, and look at how little steering input you're putting. And as we get to this, technically it's a right-hand corner, you're actually steering to the left, meaning you're just on the limit of the brakes and of the grip. And what you'll see is you've taken a slightly different line. So you've taken a later apex where you skip this early part of the corner, you skip even the middle part of the corner, and you hit it just at the exit. Boom. This is a late apex. So now what will happen is you can go in a straight line to the next section. It's interesting because we can use the kart in front to sort of gauge whether it was beneficial to you or not. The driver in front, he sort of misses the apex out, and it's only until you get to about the next corner, you could say, it's sort of neutralized the gap, I'd say. Going to the next corner. Again, when we're talking about working on consistency, for this lap, for example, just try to close the distance to the apex. Yeah, I would recommend use this white barrier as your limit. So your front left should almost be touching the white tire. On this occasion, you weren't able to hit it. Again, you were a bit closer over here. What do you find about the surface on the track? I see there's a bit of like a hole or dip over here.
It's not really good.
It's not that bad?
It's not good, but I'm not sure it's really bad.
Okay. No, that's not an issue. Skipping ahead to this time. Again, slightly close on that lap. I'm just fast forwarding just to see. Perfect. This was better than before. And I'm coming to a point now. Let's just watch one more time. It's a very interesting point to note. That's towards the end of the session. Let's go.
I think it was the last.
Yeah.
By the way, am I too wide over here and in the second section? It's also a question because these cars are slower than gasoline cars. So I'm not always sure that do I need to use the whole width of the track or not?
You mean this part of the track now or before this?
I mean here, this part. So for example, this guy is usually took, I think, tighter line over here. I'm just full throttle here and I'm trying, to make this big circle, like half of a circle over here, connecting two turns.
And naturally, that's the line you want to take in quite a powerful car, right? Which has more horsepower, like gasoline car, even a 2-stroke gasoline car. But watch the gap over here. So you'll see it's about 1 second to the driver in front before the turn.
That's why I asked.
He takes a slightly tighter line to reduce the meters. So it sticks tight. You go ever so slightly wider, right? Ever so slightly. And the net difference, as we go on to the next straight, you'll see he's pulling away. Boom, pause it over here. He's pulled away, and he's pulled away by 2 or 3 tenths of a second. So just by closing the distance in a slower car, there's lap time to be won by taking a tighter line. No need to go all the way out. No need to go all the way out here. Stick it in the middle, if not closer to the right. That's something you can try for next time. Going ahead just to the second hairpin, right? Excellent. Really, really nice effort there. So one thing to note over here is try to go for a later apex. So you're turning in slightly later in order to get the best possible exit to the next corner. So basically from this point onwards, you brake over here for this corner, and all the rest of the track now, I believe, should be flat out, right? You're not braking at all. So that hairpin, the exit that you get out of this hairpin is of utmost significance. You want to try and get the best possible exit. All you got to do, I would say, is delay your turn in. So you see how you're turning in, just before the apex over here. Delay that by half a second. And you could try to experiment a wider line. The reason you can take a wider line, you might not have to brake so much. Remember, the wider you make a corner, the less you have to brake for it. Have you tried maybe a slightly wider line in previous cases?
I'm not sure. I think this session was the best. So I'm not sure I tried it, or I tried it, but I just wasn't consistent, and it was just a bad turn.
Just like the cut in front is doing, he's getting right up to the white line on the right side. And it's like a tiny, bit wider. But those small things combined with a slightly later turn in should allow you to take this corner faster because, again, less brakes that you have to apply over here. Get the best possible exit. Was there anything else that you were struggling with on this track?
Thank you very much.
Was that about it? Let me know how it goes with the gasoline cuts. I'd be very, very interested to see that. If you got any footage as well.
Yes, I have, but it's just, I'm just crazy over there. I'm just, oh, what's happening? Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is so fast.
I believe
I'm
is
impressed.
it the race carts you're taking, or is it the
They have
you know the name of the cart?
RT8. Yeah.
RT8s. Okay, RT8s are the most powerful 4-stroke carts out there that Saudi have. I believe they're 390cc, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken.
can ask them. Yeah,
But those are
it
quick.
was cool. I felt like
Yeah.
I felt like a real like race car.
Yeah,
That was this
exactly.
feeling.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed. Have a few more sessions of that. Try and record some footage if you can, and I'd be happy to review it with you.
Yeah, it would be great. Thank you very much.
Take care, Ian. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you. That's cool.
All right, we have got Wajid. Wajid,
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry that
No.
we're at about 10:30. What we did is we did it based on whoever submitted the footage first. So
and you have to take care of their local time as well. See,
of course.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
I
still,
don't mind. And you are spending a lot of time for us, so I don't mind it.
No. It's I'm happy to help you guys, and I was really happy to see your lap. Actually, it was some very good footage that you sent through, and I was impressed about that session. So that was session 2 from Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah, Friday.
Session 2 on Friday. And which card did you take?
I believe it was 26.
26. Okay. Had you taken 26 before?
No, it was my first time. And actually, the mistake I did, I think what I did is I did not experiment much on the lines. I was consistently lapping 1.02.
102s, okay.
102. But I think if I would have tried some other racing line, I mean, later Apex in the first and second hairpin.
Yeah.
I would have. I don't know. That's my concern. I'm very slow in those two corners.
So you're
I don't know how to
struggling with the 2 hairpins.
2 hairpins, yeah.
Yeah. That's also when I reviewed your footage. That's also something I noted. In terms of the session itself, were there any issues with 26 in terms of handling?
Yeah, I felt like once the RPM goes down, it takes a bit more time to get it back up.
Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking again as well, how much is your weight? Are you about 85, 80, 85?
Yeah, 86.
86, yeah. So on the other hand, on Lusail Outdoor, weight kills you. We were discussing that, I think 1 second is to every 10 kilos is nearly 1 second. I did the experiment as well. So it's normal to feel that, the revs take time to build up. Now, there are cases, I believe it was with 27, where it's a very quick cart, but initially the time it takes to build up the revs is very slow. These carts have been having some issues lately, and they're working on spare parts and things. So not to worry. The only way to overcome that, especially if you're struggling with keeping the revs high, is just taking a wider line and using as much of the track as possible. See, the wider you take the line, the less you're going to have to brake, and the more free-flowing it becomes for you. The moment you take corners quite tight and things, you have to turn more, you've got to brake more, and at the end of the day, that lowers your momentum and kills your speed. What I was really impressed about as we just watched the lap is generally your lines, because I assume you probably watched the track guide on YouTube for Lusail.
Of course, yeah, that's what helped me to get the racing line. Yeah,
because I was going to say racing line and the effort that is there is pretty much spot on. I see you're trying to replicate what I was explaining in the video. Talk me through turns 1, 2, and 3. Any issues with that?
No, actually, first sector, I find it's the pace is good actually. If whatever momentum I have, I carry it throughout.
Yeah. What I really like, and you can continue to do this, is you're using almost all of the track on the right side. especially on corner entry, try and get as much of the kart on the green as possible over the white line. If it's a race scenario, you have to have at least 2 wheels on the track. So you're at the limit over here. You're making turn one as wide as possible, and you're going for a turn in just as the blue and white line starts on the right. In this case, you actually took a bit of the curb. Boom, 2 wheels on the curb. How does that feel, putting 2 wheels on the curb?
I felt the kart turned a bit more to the center.
Yeah.
And it carried more speed actually.
And that was really good because your exit over here is... I'm not sure why the footage is glitching like that. Okay. What happens on exit, because you've ridden the curb, you now want to focus being in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
And that's what you do in this lap. You stayed in the middle of the track. Are you lifting over here, braking?
Yeah, right now, at this point, I'm just lifting off briefly to get control back and turning in line.
Super. Continue doing that. It was very smooth, especially this lap. Just get the quality to get back. There we go. Smooth over there. And beautiful. I love how on exit, you're using all of the curb. Continue doing that. Turn 4, very straightforward. It's a flat out right-hander. And track limits on Friday were good. Yeah, because what happens is this red barrier sometimes is pushed all the way to the left side. So, it's fine. You see, when people put really fast timings in, normally the barriers have been pushed all the way out. So they're gaining a big advantage by cutting this. But you're very clean. You're staying within the track limits. Again, within track limits over here as well. Yep, head down, DRS, human DRS, and the hairpins now. So what is it exactly that you're struggling for the first hairpin? This is the one that...
Right now, this part.
Yeah.
I brake, late, but hard. And I trail brake actually.
Okay.
Until like half of the track. I reached half of the track. Bit more till here.
Till
then
here. All right. Yeah. And then you put throttle. Yeah.
But from here till the next corner, I lose some speed.
Yeah. Well, that's the exit of the corner.
Yeah. And before I used to take a wider line here, and
on the entry.
And on the entry, and I think I could keep up a little more momentum.
Absolutely, 100%. Just like you're doing for turn 1, I have to bring you back over here. Look at how much of the track or the green you're using.
Okay.
Almost all of your kart is on the green.
Okay.
And that I want you to try and replicate for the hairpin turn. So you see in the hairpin now, we're just
I'm wasting some.
So the track is there to be used. Go for it, use it. You're not going to get penalized as long as you keep the wheels in. And in terms of braking, try out the threshold braking technique, which is you're braking harder but for a short period. And what you can do is start using the blue line as a reference, blue and white line. So as this line starts, I would say the maximum I would start braking is halfway. So it's about this point over here, just in front, halfway down. The reason I try and brake that early is so I can slow the kart down about here, press the brakes hard, and get a bit of counter steer in. Again, that signals to me that I'm on the limit. And what happens is from this point to the apex, I'm back on gas again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Much more earlier.
Another thing to note is this curb on the inside, right? It has 2 levels. The beginning part is flat. It's just painted blue and white. And then it raises up its actual curb, right?
Okay.
You want to avoid hitting that curb which elevates up. So you see, you got a nice thing. Yeah, you actually hit it on this on this lap ever so slightly, but that puts a hit in your momentum. So this bit that you see over here, I'm going to try and highlight
I
that
should
for you.
avoid that. Yeah.
That is your limit.
I'm
So
fine
don't
with
go
it.
beyond it. Go just until
Okay.
the paint ends. What you can also do is try to go for a slightly later turn in. Try if any
Later
hairpin turn, yep, just go for a later apex. Later turn in, later apex over there. And that should give you the best possible exit. Remember, you'll be on the gas a lot early over here. You're accelerating through the corner. And even on exit, continue, boom, love that. Continue being in the middle of the track. Yeah, you're dead in the middle over here. Don't go too wide. And on this lap, you didn't go too wide. That just wastes meters again. And yeah, it compromises your entry for the second hairpin. What are you struggling with for the second hairpin now as we approach it?
Yeah, this one I do like hard braking and turn in, then try to counter steer, but again I lose momentum here.
Yeah, I think here, yeah, just on the exit you got a big snap of counter steer. What I see in this case is don't turn too early. Okay.
Yeah.
Delay the turn in. So you see how your steering wheel is still in a straight line. Continue in a straight line. Almost look towards this barrier on the out in front of you. Straight line, half a second more. What that will do is, in this case, it'll open up the corner for you. So you see how you're already turning in for the turn.
Delay it, yeah.
And you'll naturally take a middle or early apex. So that's what you want to avoid doing. Ever so slightly. I love how you're hard on the brakes. I love how you're getting rotation. And I also love the fact that you're trying to hit the inside curb. So this corner, as I pause it here, you should be taking. You can even see the black markings on the curb, because the fastest line is to ride it over here. But remember, our speed is a lot lower in this corner, so we can afford to do that, and it gives us a boost. The idea is by taking a later corner, you can then hit this perfectly as a late apex. And what you'll end up doing is on the exit of a corner is you don't end up going so wide, right? What you're going to do is
almost in the middle. Yeah, I can go straight.
Go in a straight line. So all of this in blue, we don't need to deal with that. Yeah, we skip all of that. Focus on the yellow line, minimize the meters, and make it as straight line as possible. So what you'll end up doing is hitting the curb, not early as you're doing over here. You'll first hit the curb halfway. Midway through the corner. There you go, exactly. But then continue riding it. As you do, 2 wheels over it. We're trying to use all of the track available, make it as wide as possible. See, in this case, on Friday, they put the barriers right up there because they know that, people cut sometimes, and it's better when they do that. So use the full width of track. Coming to the end of the lap now. Are you struggling with anything over here?
No, here I think I'm carrying enough speed and the lines are pretty much okay.
Yeah. One thing about
I miss here always. What can I do as a marker for here?
Yeah, for this corner. This corner, before we tackle it, we have to talk about the right-hand turn. And you're braking for this corner?
Yeah, I'm braking here. A little more back.
Okay, early braking then.
Early braking and a brief braking actually. Not much.
Okay, brief braking. So is it just after?
Yeah, exactly in that corner.
Exactly over here. Perfect.
Right here, yeah.
It's a nice entry you're taking. You're nice and wide. What I like is you're still keeping distance to the inside.
Okay.
But try to delay the turn in ever so slightly. So take an even later apex. I know you're going late over here. Go even later. So what that will help you do is, as opposed to hitting the curb, let me pause it. Boom. As opposed to hitting the curb over here, you'll hit the curb later over here.
Yeah, and I'll be on the right side.
And exactly that. So then for the next corner, So for the next
I don't
corner,
have to fight the cart much.
you're almost gonna be 2 wheels on the green or 2 wheels on the white line. So
Yeah.
that should be your target. The wider you can take the entry for this corner, the easier it is to then cut to the left side.
Mhm.
So for
Yeah.
this left-hander, you have to take it flat out on the ideal line, get as much speed as possible. 2 wheels should be on the green. So slightly wider entry. Then the actual curb over here, you know,
Yeah.
on the best line, we actually take 2 wheels on it and we jump over it, believe it or not.
Okay.
So
Alright.
that could be something you can try for
Yeah.
next time. A wider entry and try to jump over this curb. That jump actually gives you a boost, and it could add a few tenths. But in exchange, what you have to make sure you're doing is on exit, you have to go all the way to the white line. So even wider on exit.
Okay. Yeah. Make the cart straight.
Yeah. From a wide exit, then come back to the middle as you're doing. Because what you've done is, let me get the cursor back. You've taken a lot of speed over here. You've jumped over the curb. So carry that momentum all the way to the white curb over there.
Okay.
Don't limit yourself by just going halfway or to the right-hand side of the track. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
Final 2 corners. So nice through there. I like your line. Final 2 corners are really nice because you're going close for the first one, boom, until the white line. And the second one, yeah, you're trying to ride that. You're taking more curb. In this case, I think you can be ever so slightly closer. So for the first one,
more closer.
it's tiny bit closer. It's not on the curb, but it's right on the white line. So you see this white line over there?
Okay.
Just try and have the tire right there. It's a very, very small gap. I'm nitpicking. But for the next corner, try to ride it all the way to the limit. So your tire should be at the edge of this this curb there. That's where you want to be. And to finish off the lap, final curb. Yep, there you go. You've taken 2 wheels over that. Head back down. I reckon you've got 101 in you. If you take one of the fast carts.
Yeah, I got number 16. I got 101.101.
Excellent. Yeah. So you've hit it already. 101. I'm very happy about that. You've got to memorize the numbers. As we said, it's 16, it's 10, 27, 4. These are all the quick carts. So it's good to practice in other carts, but every now and then go ahead and request it. Request one of the faster carts. And I'm sure you'll enjoy. Let's meet at the track, inshallah, next week time, and would love you to put these improvements into place.
Yeah, I'll ping you before booking a session next Friday.
Yeah, inshallah. Let's do that then.
Yeah, thank you so much, brother.
Take care, bro. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. All right, we have got Manav is still there. Manav and Sureth. Sureth, I think, left. Sureth, it might have got too late, There is. We've done everyone. Yep. Excellent. Sureth, if we couldn't meet today, then let's hopefully keep that for next time. Thanks to everyone who's joined today's session. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in on the live. I'm just going to go to the comments of the live stream. Let's see what we've got over here. Remove. Excellent. So we got 10 people still on the live. Thank you everyone for joining in. Just to recap, weekly sessions, 6 p.m. GMT. If you got any karting footage like today's contributors put, be sure to join the academy, share a link to it. Love to go through it with you, give you some improvements. And You can click the link top of the description of this video to find that. But until the next track help session, guys, I'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.